Mayor, you're on. You're on.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to City Council. Today is January 2nd, 2024. It's approximately 1 p.m. and I'll call this meeting to order. If we could please stand, I'd like to continue with giving a moment of silence for our men and women that have served in the military, our police and fire that protect our city. And I'd also like a moment of silence for our leadership in this community to do good work. Now, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Which is the cue sheet that I
This
follow?
one is the cue sheet, so there's no proclamation, so you can move on to jobs of the week.
Okay, seeing that we have no proclamations today, we'll go ahead and start with Jobs of the Week. Sarah Rainey.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year as well. We have the slideshow. Are they going to pull up the slideshow? If not, I have my notes too. Okay. All righty, we'll get this up. Okay. For Jobs of the Week for January 2nd for 2024, we have for the City of Las Cruces, a street light electrician. The posting starts at $21.95 an hour, and that is a continuous posting. Whoops. Also for the City of Las Cruces, we have a spay and neuter coordinator. That position starts at $18.07 per hour, and that one is a continuous posting at this time as well. For White Sands Missile Range, we have an HVAC Technician 1. That one begins at $27.54 an hour, and that position is open until filled. For American Beverages, we have a merchandiser position open. It's $15.95 an hour. They actually have 2 positions open, and those positions are open until the 22nd of this month. For American Red Cross, there's a Multicultural Marketing Program Manager. The position starts at $86,000 a year. The qualifications are listed on the website as well. That position is open until the 21st of the month. Finally, the Crescent Electric Supply Company has a warehouse manager for $12 an hour. That position closes on the 20th, sorry. As always, feel free to come by and see us at 226 South Alameda Boulevard. You guys can reach us on any of our social medias. We now have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Hot jobs are listed on our YouTube channel, and then we have TikTok as well. You can always reach out to us on Employee NM with the Contact Us link, and then we have our app as well that's on the Apple Store and the Google Play. So if anybody has any questions, I stand for questions.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Sarah.
you so much.
Next, we have Pets of the Week by Amy DeFelix.
Hello everyone, I'm Amy DeFelix. I'm one of the rescue coordinators for the Animal Services Center. Let me go ahead and put this up. And we always start out with our cat of the week. His name is George. His number is 70242. And he says, I came to the Animal Services Center through no fault of my own. I'm a little shyer and like to hide in cozy cubbies, but once you give me pets and affection, I'm so sweet and will politely ask you for attention. I have a sister who has already found her forever home, so now I'm hoping it's my turn. I promise I'll be a loving, quiet companion for you. And then we have our dog of the week. His name is Gustavo. His number is 64097. And he says, I was picked up as a very friendly stray. I'm just a young dog actively looking for my forever home. I love spending time with humans, whether it's just hanging out, playing with toys, or even going on walks. I promise that I'd be the best fur friend you could ever have. I'm just waiting for the right people to just give me a chance. And then we only have one adoption event this week. We'll be at the Pizza Hut off of North Main, so 1492 North Main. We'll be there this Saturday, January 6th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's all. Did I just leave this? I don't know. Good. But thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Next, we have the conflict of interest. Does any member of the city council, city manager, or any member of the city staff have any known conflict of interest with any item on the agenda?
None.
None, Graham.
None, Corin.
None, McClure.
None, City Manager.
Thank you. Seeing none. City clerk? We're good. Okay, so next we have our organizational ceremony. This will be the selection of Mayor Pro Tem. And with that, I would like to actually make a nomination. And it's not normal for the chair to make the nomination, so we'll need a motion in a second. But I would like to nominate Councilor Bencomo as a Mayor Pro Tem.
Move to approve that nomination.
Second, Corin.
Okay, so we have a first and second nomination for Councilor Bencomo.
This is on the motion to nominate Councilor Bencomo as Mayor Pro Tem. Councilor McClure.
Aye.
Councilor Matisse. Councilor Graham.
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo.
Yes.
Councilor Cran.
Yes.
Councilor Flores is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Congratulations. We'll let Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo get adjusted, and then we'll move on. Next, we'll go to public participation. I'd like to also keep some of the things in order with public participation, allowing 3 minutes for members of the public to come up and speak on non-agenda items. And I'll start on the left. So anybody in the front row? I believe Mr. Murunda. Okay.
Yes, my name is Paul Borunda. I've been a resident of Las Cruces for 79 years. I'm quite familiar with what has been happening before I left for service in Vietnam and when I came back, the drastic changes that had occurred and continue to occur. I've had the displeasure of approaching the city council for many years with many of my colleagues who are no longer living to try to make changes for the betterment of Las Cruces and its people. But this city is so political, entwined in protecting its own behinds, that nothing is ever done. I remember when Matisse was mayor, and he belittled me because I was having conflict with my family members over property that my parents left me when they died. And he belittled me by saying that my issue was like the Hatfield and McCoy's war. You may not remember that, I do. And I'm sorry to see that you won re-election for this position as city councilman, because you were nothing then and nothing now
Mr.
than just a used car,
Mr.
than a
Barunda,
used
no,
car salesman.
Mr. Barunda, I'll have to interrupt you if you're not going to be respectful. There's no,
I
you don't,
am
you
speaking
don't need to,
respectfully.
you don't need to point fingers and
I'm
call
not pointing
anybody out.
fingers. That's just,
Sir,
that's
you-
the Hispano gesture of speaking.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to just be respectful. You have your time. Be respectful with it.
Okay. So,
Mayor.
anyway,
Just,
the
May
thing
may I
is,
have a word?
the thing is this.
May I have a word? Can
When
I?
I'm done, you can
No,
speak
it's
all you want.
very important for me right
Mr.
now.
Barunda,
No, it isn't.
Mr.
If I-
Barunda,
if I had
The
said-
reason I came
Mr.
also was to let you know that Sunday, I called the Las Cruces Police Department to report that someone had broken into my home and removed the window completely from the structure of the home. I called 911. It took them a while to answer. Then, when they did, I told them what was going on. They said they were going to dispatch a police officer to go and investigate. No police officer ever showed up. And at best, I was hoping at least to get a police report so that I can file with my insurance company. All of these things have been happening, just like what happened on August the 28th of this past year when I came and I approached here on issues that involved the iOS police report. At that time, Mayor Pro Tem Cassandra Gandara violated the city charter and ordering 2 police detectives to escort me out of the building, off the property. The city manager never opened one word on that issue, and he has not been admonished on any of it. This is what is happening to our community, is that we elect you and you become dictators and only concerned on protecting yourselves and the police departments and the whole city staff, the whole
okay,
city.
Mr. Barunda, your 3 minutes are up. And I do sympathize with you, and I told you that I would meet with you
No,
personally.
you won't. You won't.
Okay,
You don't
that's a-
sympathize with
that-
me, because
no,
if you
that-
did, things would change, and nothing is going to ever change as long as we continue to have a Democrat-established government here
Okay,
in the
Mr.
state of New
Barunda,
Mexico.
your 3 minutes are up. Thank you. You have anybody in the second row? Okay, the third row, sir? Oh, we're on the left side. Yes, sir. Oh, it's working.
Mr. Mayor and fellow council members, I'm relatively new at this, but on the betterment of a new year, I'm here to hopefully give some enlightenment to better our community.
Sir,
I'm
could you
here-
state your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Anthony Ray Daines. I go by AR. I'm affiliated with the area churches. If any of you are churched, I don't know if you've heard of me yet, but I'm doing an outreach, and I'm trying to help with the homeless situation, as well as a lot of the drug problems in our area through creating a Celebrate Recovery program. And what I'm asking in return, with the oppressions that I've seen in the last month or so from other states, I don't know if any of the panel are church people, but I'm asking in return, respectfully, I want to help the community to better so we don't have situations like our past speaker, but at the same time, I want to reach out and try to help this community. I'm affiliated with the Community of Christ Church on 1210 Montana, as well as the Janiana County Cowboy Church at 1600 South Valley. And I'm reaching out to many of the other churches. I want to create a program of outreach. Several of the states, Minnesota being one of them, has kind of put a thumb on churches doing anything outside their church building. Well, if you know anything about Scripture, our purpose in life is to go out amongst the Gentile and spread the word to every living creature. And if we're oppressed in that manner, we won't be able to help those people who are in need of help. We ask them and invite them in all the time. Our last few community socials that we've had, we've fed many, no bigger than we are. But I, again, want to say I'm here to help with the community, not just me, it's all him. But these churches are all trying to help step out into this community and be a part of it. We're asking you to just allow us to do so without oppression, without ordinances that restrict us from doing that sort of thing. We're not going to beat people over the head like Jesus freaks and demand they change their ways, but they have to willingly come to us. If they will, we're there to help. And that's basically all I have to say, but you'll see more of me from now on. And I hope it's in good sense. I'm very pro-blue. I've had some situations since I've moved to this area, but I've had representation very good. With that, I'll sit down, but please, I'd like to hear some of your opinions about your faith. Thank you.
Hey, Art, well, thank you. If you could leave your information with the clerk, we truly embrace and we would support any kind of outreach and support from the community. So we'll definitely look at that and get back to you with some of the ways that we can organize that properly. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Next row. Yes, sir. On the
Hello. Congratulations to the new members of the council. My name is Jorge Aguirre, and like many immigrants, I'm a resident of the city. And like many immigrants, I'm a small business owner and employer. And like many of my neighbors, I am very concerned about the migrant and homeless population in the city. As you probably know, migrants are less likely to commit crime than native-born Americans, but are more likely to start a business and create jobs, though they are demonized for political reasons. As you also may know, crime is an effect of poverty. And in order to deal with crime effectively, we have to reduce or eliminate poverty, not criminalize poor people. We've seen it happen before, like what this gentleman just said. A desperate person may break through $3,000 worth of property to access a $2,000 object and maybe get a couple $100 from it. Everybody loses, especially the insurance company. Don't file a claim. It's not just the money loss, though. It's the trust in our community, in our ability to feel safe as we go to work and run our daily errands of our daily life. It's the stress of getting off our parking lot of our brand new car and seeing a dispossessed neighbor, our fellow American, in desperate need for just food. I gave a $20 bill to somebody the other day. You should have seen the $1 million smile they gave me back. But I cannot help every single person. I don't have a $20 for every person that needs it. No organization, nobody on their own can do it. Only collective action can. And the thing is that we have done this the wrong way. We have bought more cops. In order to deal with this problem, we sent 2 or 3 multiple $60,000 cops with their $100,000 vehicles, $20,000 in equipment. Best case scenario, they end up in prison, costing us an additional $50,000 a year to house, to feed. We could have done that in the first place. So anyway, just to end, I just want to say that to be cruel to the vulnerable is a sign of weakness. What we need is strength. Someone with the courage to protect our most vulnerable citizens, just because they're part of this tribe. even if there's nothing to gain for them or from them other than the credit for building a strong community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Dolores Lucero, and Mr. City Manager, Mr. Mayor, and Council. I was here in July when some of you were not at the dais, and I asked for some help on getting a project finished that was designed 20 years ago, and that is the street from Tell Shore to Sonoma Ranch, Loman Avenue. The reason that those medians are so large and unfinished is because 20 years ago they were developed and we bought the land to pay for 3 lanes each way. The backup on that street right now is not tolerable for all times of the day, not just at 8 or 4 in the afternoon. The bigger problem is when ambulances are going to Mountain View Hospital and it's slowing down traffic. It is not a safe section of road. And I know that this community is not a walking community, especially from that part of our city. We need to complete what was designed 20 years ago, which was approved by the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and now all it needs is the funding to add the additional lanes, finish the landscaping, or actually put in the landscaping that's not there, and relieve some of the pressure. The reason it wasn't done 20 years ago is because the growth in the community was not there yet. The growth is there now and has been for several years. When I presented in July, I heard from none of you. No one responded, and I know you can't respond here, but afterwards, not even my own counselor. And we are struggling in that area for traffic flow. When the high school lets out in Centennial, they're coming, which direction is that? North and on to Loman. It's a bottleneck. It's dangerous. And I pulled over for an ambulance the other day, but no one else did. And I'm sorry, we cannot wait any longer on this part of the road. Just additional planning at today's standards is another 6 months to finish planning it, and probably a year to actually build it. A year and a half from now, we will be able to alleviate that traffic problem. If we wait any longer, now we're waiting 2 years or 2.5 years. So I really implore the city manager and this council to give direction to city staff to start reviewing how this roadway can be finished and completed with the taxpayer dollars that were used to purchase that land in the first place. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm sorry, sir, we can't play a video until it's been reviewed or vetted by staff and the clerk's office.
It's just flashing lights.
Yeah, no, we can't do the video, but we give you the 3 minutes.
It doesn't do it well without the video, it doesn't do any good.
Okay, well, if you want to leave it, and then at the next meeting, you're available to come up and present.
Okay, who do I give this to?
City clerk. She's going to look at it now. No, it's who is next? Yes, sir.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new arrivals. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this body can achieve on behalf of the Las Cruces community. My name is William Gilman. I've been a resident of Las Cruces for 3 years. My wife and I just had our first baby, and we're going to be raising her here. Super excited. It's been really fun. I've been self-employed for the last 2 years, and just this month, I'm going to be beginning renting some office space on Main Street. So I'm pretty invested in the future of our community. So, as we all know, Las Cruces is facing a lot of challenges, and we are not the only city that is facing those problems. We have high numbers of homeless people in our community. There's an increase in property crime, vandalism, and substance abuse and overdose. And it's really sad to see. These issues are often interrelated, and there are no easy answers. Historically, at city council meetings and county meetings, there's a lot of voices demanding that our politicians hurry up and arrest more people and incarcerate them for longer and have stronger penalties. But these, as understandable as that might be, these issues have been going on for decades in our country, and we have compassion fatigue. This is just a Band-Aid, and we can't afford to just keep Band-Aiding the situation and kicking the can down the road. There are real solutions out there, and Las Cruces has already made progress on some of them. And so rather than kicking the can down the road, we should be investing these tax dollars in supporting people to get back on their feet and get rehabilitated. We can look at evidence from other cities. We can look at evidence from the Veterans Administration on what they're doing about homelessness. There are lots and lots of resources out there that this body should be drawing on and pursuing those solutions. As I said, Las Cruces has already made a lot of progress in this regard. The effort to revitalize the Main Street corridor and have events there is an evidence-based solution to get more people there, have the community feel like they own that space more, makes it safer, makes it more inviting, and works well for businesses. Things like that. We need to double down and invest more on that. So if we merely arrest and incarcerate a person, they are going to be just as homeless as they were, whether they're released in 2 days or 2 years or 5 years. Obviously, there are a lot of other crimes that go along with that, or rather, there's as I said, a lot of overlap between homelessness, drug abuse, crime, vandalism, etc. But the point is that we can't really afford to keep Band-Aiding the situation. We really need real solutions, and real solutions take time, they take money, and they don't always work perfectly. So they are not easy to implement. It takes real leadership to implement real solutions, and that's what I expect to see from this body that's assembled here. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations on your baby. Okay, who was next? Row 6, yeah.
Mayor, Council, City Manager, I'm Juan Garcia. The following are concerns shared by citizens for 2024 that affect this community. And I quote, 2 Saturdays ago, on December 9th, a homeless man entered our property via the Burn Lake Park and got up on our roof. He had come in through the unmaintained city fence at the east end of the park. Midday, he attempted entry to the house via the upper story window. I confronted him on the roof and had the trigger half pulled, but stopped and had my wife call the police. When the officer arrived, he let the intruder escape. This is a 70-year-old confronting a vagrant that could have ended tragically for him, his family, or the vagrant. Going forward, the citizen will resort to, quote, interactive security to safeguard his family. With a liability risk, I receive almost daily reports of these illegal activities in the Klein Park area. Maybe Councilor McClure will focus on this area and help clean it up. In the meantime, Petco, Dollar General, Dollar Store, and others are now displaying their, quote, Las Cruces badge of honor, boarded windows. This morning, Albuquerque Journal, headlines, lawmakers and governor, eye gun control in 2024. Not a surprise. And I quote, it seems odd that a measure that's supposed to fight gun crime appears to affect the very people who are at the least likely to commit such acts, that is, law-abiding citizens who are concealed carry holders. This is referring to the push by the governor's health mandate, or more appropriately, the crime epidemic, which she helped create by pushing her obedient followers, representatives, and senators to enact legislation to turn law-abiding citizens into criminals. Senator Hamlin, Sol, Cervantes, and Steinborn will pick up again where they left off in 2023. Senator Heinrich, with support from board member Patrick Nolan and Sheriff Stewart, per the Las Cruces Sun, will team up with the governor to attempt imposition of gun control in New Mexico, similar to that established by Governor Newsom. From a meeting between the governor and U.S. Attorney Ubayas, I quote, "I guess following the law, supporting law enforcement and incarcerating criminals didn't apply during her first term. Now she wants to handcuff law-abiding citizens." A large number of bills were proposed in 2023 that could have impacted criminals, but most were left. It never left committee. Our Doña Ana County politicos didn't lift a finger to support this anti-crime. The irony and political hypocrisy from CNN, and I quote, "Abortion providers in recent months have closed up their clinics in order for states and moved to New Mexico." Whereas the governor and Senator Heinrich and others weep for the kids killed by the tools used by criminal, she pushes full steam ahead with increasing capacity in New Mexico for houses of pain or abortion clinics. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julia Ruiz. Greetings, Council, Mayor, City Manager. My day started out no different than everyone else's, getting ready to celebrate the new year with family and friends. I had to pick up a few things at the grocery store, so I stopped by Albertsons on Telshore, where I was immediately approached by a multi-masked male knocking on my window before I even turned off the ignition. I parked right in front of the store, the first parking spot, and I didn't have far to walk. Typically, one is approached by an unknown person asking for money at the outskirts of the parking lots where they're somewhat hidden from others' views. However, this time I parked right in front of the store, and as I got ready to get in the store, I turned to grab my purse and heard someone knocking right in my front door window, knocking on my window in the middle of the day in front of the security and other shoppers. I couldn't see his face. I looked for his eyes, nothing. I searched for his mouth, nothing. He was completely covered up in masks, hats, and gloves, and several layers of jackets, with the last layer put on backwards. There was no way for me to tell what this person looked like, and no way to give a description to the police. As I exited my vehicle, I dropped my phone and my wallet went flying. I immediately picked it up, and so did he. I grabbed my wallet, and he reached for my phone at the same time. I did have a choice to not turn off the ignition and not to exit my vehicle, and to leave to another store. As this masked male continued to block my door, I decided to continue on my path and enter the store, even though I was frightened. The following questions have come up. Why is it necessary for me to tailor, or anybody to tailor, our actions and choices around individuals that have chosen this path? What will the council do to empower law enforcement officers against panhandlers coming up to and scaring unsuspecting people? How long before something is done, before someone is accosted and seriously hurt by one of these individuals that may be mentally ill and or on drugs? How long will businesses continue to be vandalized and patrons made to feel unsafe when parking and entering their storefront? What will my liability be to protect myself? Until now, I've not had to concern myself with a criminal suing me for protecting or defending myself or my loved ones and my property. Will I need counsel to defend me, defending myself? These questions don't typically occupy one's mind, but now they do. A man in Albuquerque is now behind bars after allegedly taking matters into his own hands. He's in jail while the alleged male who stole his vehicle was released. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Row 7.
Thank you, city councilors and mayor. I'm Sarah Smith from the New Mexico Freedoms Alliance. Welcome Mayor Enriquez, Councilor Matisse, and Councilor McClure. At your last meeting, you approved a list of legislative priorities for the upcoming session in Santa Fe. I was glad to see that you are asking for funds to expand behavioral health services in southern New Mexico. Hopefully this will help with the increased drug abuse and mental health problems that we are all seeing. However, I was surprised to see that there was no item requesting that the legislature help with the crime situation. All across the city, we are seeing signs that more needs to be done to stop the crime. We are seeing businesses and homes being vandalized, windows being broken, people's property being taken, and vehicles being stolen, including my neighbor. We are seeing more homeless people camping out at businesses and homes, approaching people asking for money, scaring children, threatening people, and leaving trash and feces all around. We are seeing drugged out people wandering the streets, harassing people, and leaving dangerous needles lying around where children can find them. And we're seeing people being harmed while trying to live peacefully and responsibly, such as Patricia from the Little Shop on Main, who has been stalked and sexually harassed by homeless men. Another example is Carlos, who asked you for help after suffering repeated attacks on his business and being threatened with physical harm by a homeless man trying to hit him with a belt buckle. There is also Rosa Ortega, who was brutally attacked by a homeless person in broad daylight while trying to walk to the grocery store. In last year's legislative session, there were several bills proposed that were aimed at reducing crime, yet they all failed. Will you please ask the legislature to help us with this issue this session, this year? Additionally, I continue to be concerned about the huge amount of funding going towards Housing First initiatives in Las Cruces, such as the $7 million line item for Community of Hope. We have already seen with the Desert Hope Homeless Housing Project that giving homeless people housing with no requirements for sobriety or accountability creates many problems. The Desert Hope Housing Project has devastated the nearby neighborhood with increased crime and drugs. At least 2 drug dealers have been housed there. People living near Desert Hope no longer feel safe, and they have suffered under increased break-ins, harassment, and property damage. Housing First doesn't meet the needs of the homeless who are trying to actually reform their lives and change their life paths either. Will you invest in other approaches instead of putting all of our resources towards Housing First? One example is the Work First model being used at Boulder Bridge House in Colorado. They utilize a drug and alcohol-free shelter combined with job readiness training. After 1 year, people graduate from their program ready for employment and permanent housing. This program has a 74% success rate in having people maintain employment and independence. We should be aiming for improved, rehabilitated lives for the homeless people so they can become responsible members of our community. Will you please take a more balanced approach instead of investing only in Housing First? Our community is counting on you to make Las Cruces a safe place to live, work, and thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on row 7? Next row, 8. Next row. Last row. Okay, moving over to my right. Yes, sir. Come on up.
Mr. Mayor, councilors, honored guests, I'm Jeffrey Field. I'm here again to speak about Gaza, but before I start, I would like to say that you folks have your work cut out for you, and I sympathize with everyone here. Before I speak about Gaza, I'd like everyone here to consider your enemies. And now I'd like you to consider your enemies' wives and children. Our inclination to extend a helping hand to others is a testament to our inherent goodness. This is a fundamental truth about human nature. It is also important to recognize our cognitive limitations in truly perceiving the vast tapestry of humanity that surrounds us. Restricted by nature, our mental scope often limits our ability to see more than a select few as fully human beings. Centuries ago, Hillel the Elder, a revered Jewish scholar, tackled this very issue. He succinctly captured the essence of moral conduct in this noteworthy maxim: "That which is hateful to you, do not do unto your fellow. That is the whole Torah. The rest is explanation. Go and learn. In a similar vein, Jesus offered a compelling perspective to his followers. His message was clear and profound. Truly, as you treat the least among you, so you treat me. In essence, Jesus was challenging his followers to expand their circle of empathy. He urged them to understand that every person, regardless of their status or proximity to us, is as human as those we hold dear. These teachings bring us to a vital realization. To truly grasp the reality that every individual is a person just like ourselves requires a powerful imagination. It is through this imaginative empathy that we can begin to understand the lessons imparted by Hillel and Jesus. As we reflect on the events in Gaza, it's imperative that we challenge ourselves to see beyond our cognitive limitations. Let us strive to recognize the humanity in every person, regardless of the distance or differences that separate us. Only by doing so can we hope to foster a world where peace and understanding prevail over conflict and division. Consider these words from Rabbi Hillel. If I am not for myself, who will be? If I am only for myself, what am I? If not now, when? I again urge our City Council to pass a resolution in support of a general ceasefire in the ongoing hostilities between Israel, Palestine, and the Palestinian people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So third, fourth row, fifth, sixth, seventh. Anyone on the right side? All right, okay, thank you. Now we move to the acceptance of the agenda.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
Yes.
This is on the motion to accept the agenda as presented. Counselor McCullough.
Aye.
Counselor Matisse. Counselor Graham.
Yes.
Counselor Cran.
Yes.
Counselor Flores is absent. Counselor Bencomo.
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. So with the approval of the agenda, that includes the city council minutes and the consent agenda. We'll move to resolutions and or ordinances for discussion. That'd be 8.1, resolution number 24.072.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second.
Clerk.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor, Councilors. My name is Abner Gomez. I'm the Rate and Economic Analysis Manager with the Utilities Department. I have a resolution today for you for the Asset Management Plan Development. To give you some background on this, the Las Cruces Utilities Department has been making several efforts to look for low-interest loans or grants or a mixture of funding for capital improvement projects. And we recently submitted an application to the Water Trust Board. The application is requesting $3 million to rehabilitate what we call Telshore Tank, which is a water tank just off Imperial Ridge, close to Centennial High School. It's 58 years old and has a 2 million gallon capacity. As part of the application process, the Water Trust Board requires that any applicant looking for any funding on their behalf provide an asset management plan. Any applicant who does not have an existing asset management plan must present a resolution from the governing body stating that we commit to develop one. This is one of the requirements so that it preserves all of the resources that they are potentially investing by lending us money, either through low-interest loans, or a grant, or a mixture of both. I will say that the Las Cruces Utilities Department does have several existing plans in place, such as the operations and maintenance, and also a utility-specific master plan. But the Water Trust Board does require that the asset management plan be prepared because it is in a specific format. It covers specific roles or specific fields that the other plans just don't cover. So LCU will work with staff and also with any consultants that are needed to develop a plan for all our water tanks, because we do intend to apply on an annual basis, and we also see a great benefit by developing a plan for all our storage tanks for present and future projects. This will also help us, meet some of our Elevate goals, such as supporting efforts to improve and maintain water quality. And with that, I will stand for any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions? Councilor Corinne?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. I just have a couple of questions in terms of what this looks like, because I understand the idea of concrete assets and what we have in existence, but the idea of planning for this to include, does this include sort of, I don't want to say abstract assets, but assets that are kind of in flux? And I guess to me, I think about the bigger climate plan and our access to water and the water that exists in our aquifers, and I wonder if that's also part of this sort of assessment, or if this is more physical assets that we have in place.
So, Mayor, Councilor Grant, this specific asset management plan is specific to a type of asset. So the Water Trust Board, most of their projects are for storage and conveyance. So a water tank is one of those perfect examples. So this asset management plan will look only at water storage tanks that we have right now. It looks at certain things such as level of service, financing it, and providing budget for maintenance for the current and the future. It looks at very specific key roles, but it will only be for water storage tanks at this time.
Okay, and you also mentioned conveyance. Does that include the infrastructure, of that infrastructure as well?
So Mayor, Councilor, yes, it does. It can include, but however, we're not requesting any conveyance at this time, being that most of the water storage tanks are the ones that, because of cost, we do require some assistance when possible. So for now, we are only focusing on storage tanks.
Okay, and then I just have one third question, and I apologize to my colleagues for belaboring this, but will this also be useful for potential other types of capital planning that we might do, that utilities might be doing, and could that be integrated into a bigger sort of conversation about bonds and capital improvement projects related to utilities?
Mayor, Councilor Corinne, yes, and that's part of the reason why we've broadened the scope to include all storage tanks. We could have just done one tank, but we do see a benefit, regardless if we move forward with their loan terms. We do see a big benefit by looking at all our storage tanks, what their life is and condition is, and whether it's through CIP, our regular CIP process, or through some bonds or other loans, we do see a great benefit by having this in place already, or at least committing to develop one.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you all sort of helping me understand what the scope of this is. So thank you.
Any other? Councilor McClure?
Councilor Corinne asked pretty much kind of what I wanted to ask, but I also wanted to ask, what's the sort of timeline that you're aiming to get this done? Is this something we're going to be able to see? That's kind of what she already had asked, but just what's the timeline on it?
Mayor, Councilor McClure, the timeline for this will be a couple months. We're not quite sure. It'll be the first one that we develop, so it's a bit of uncharted territory. We're hoping that depending on the consultants and how many consultants are available, within, for sure by this next fiscal year, we'll already have some money budgeted for this plan. So rough ballpark, maybe 3 to 6 months from start to finish once we get this going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from the public? Seeing none, go ahead, ready for a vote.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 24-072. Councilor McClure?
Aye.
Councilor Matisse? Counselor Graham,
Yes.
Counselor Coran,
Yes.
Counselor Flores is absent, Counselor Bencomo,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes. Next item is Council Bill number 24-013, ordinance number 3055, an ordinance approving a zone change from EE Equestrian Estate and Agriculture to C3 Commercial High Intensity for property located at 780 Stern Avenue. And we have Mr. Adam Ochoa.
Move to approve. Graham.
Second, Corin.
Alrighty. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Adam Ochoa, Community Development for the record. Case we have before you is a proposed zone change for a property located at 780 Stern Drive. Property currently encompasses roughly 1.78 acres in size and is currently vacant or undeveloped. Its existing zoning is EE, which means Equestrian Estate and Agriculture District of the 2001 zoning code. Property is located in what is called out as by Elevate Las Cruces as the suburban neighborhood place type, but do want to point out that this is immediately adjacent to, right next to, what we consider our regional commercial place type. So as we all know, this area shown here, Stern, right over here is Avenida de Mesilla, so it's right next to what we consider a regional commercial area. As you can see, this is kind of a little out of place, especially for a road designated like Stern Drive, being an equestrian estate zoning, which is more of a rural type of zoning designation for residential, large lot residential. This is kind of like one of the last remaining pieces along Stern Drive that they're trying to get a zone change from. Just kind of get your bearings here. I-10 here to the northeast, Bouts along here, got residential running along Bouts, and then nothing but commercial essentially right adjacent to I-25 towards Avenida de Mesilla. Shown here, this is the USDA building, to give you a better idea where it is, some office buildings, RV park, and this is that vacant piece of property. So the proposal that has come forward for this property is a proposed zone change to C3, which is commercial high intensity. C3 being required because of the size of the property. It has to be zone C3 in order to meet our 2001 zoning code requirements. There's no actual specific development proposal at this time, but staff did see that this proposed zoning is in accordance with Elevate Las Cruces. When we took a look at this further through our analysis, staff did see that there's no health, safety, or welfare issues identified. Proposed zoning is compatible, as you can see, with nothing but C3 along Stern Drive. Property is located in a suburban place type where you want that kind of supporting commercial node adjacent to what's residential, which is everything more to the south. There is still questions were brought up about a buffer requirement between this equestrian estate, or hopefully soon to be C3 zone property, and the adjacent residential property. There are buffer requirements that are required if this property gets developed at any time in the future, which would include landscape, distance requirements from the buildings to the residential area, opaque screening, possible walls and fences and so forth like that. Additionally, Stern Drive is a designated minor arterial roadway where C3 zoning and uses are encouraged by the, not only Elevate Las Cruces, by the Metropolitan Planning Organization as well. Public notice was sent out to surrounding property owners within 500 feet of the subject property meeting code. Staff received a few phone calls, just general inquiries of what was being proposed. Additionally, on top of that, staff did require that the applicant and their representatives mail out what we call early notifications, essentially letting people know way before before public hearings that they're proposing the zone change. Staff received no public input when those letters were sent out by the applicant. At the September 26, 2023 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, Planning and Zoning Commission did go ahead and recommend approval for the proposed zone change by a vote of 6-0 with one commissioner absent. Findings being that, again, this is in a suburban place type immediately adjacent to a regional commercial place type where C3 is encouraged. It is supported by the goals, policies, and actions of Elevate Las Cruces, as well as that this request does meet the intent of the 2001 zoning code and the Las Cruces Municipal Code, Section 2-382, which is the criteria decisions for zone changes. With that, ladies and gentlemen, your options tonight are 1, to vote yes and approve the proposed zone change as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission, 2, to vote no and deny, 3 to vote to amend, or 4 to vote and table postpone and direct staff and the applicant accordingly. That is the conclusion of my presentation. I stand for questions.
Thank you, Adam. Any questions by Councilor Matisse?
As of today, there's not been one complaint, not one protest.
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, no, sir. We have not received, as of today, we have not received any phone calls, mail, anything from the public in the area, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
No other questions by council. Any questions by the public? Yes. 4 minutes. Yes, keep it at 3.
George Pearson. This is near the intersection with Bouts and Stern, which currently is a two-way stop. They made kind of a mess there, I think, after they put in that development. What should have been done probably is a roundabout. I wonder if there's any possibility, if there's any consideration of the impact of this zone change on that intersection and how we can make sure that we keep that intersection safe for a large number of bicyclists that use the intersection.
Thank you, sir.
I was just gonna, follow up, with a follow-up question, actually, to George's thing. I would assume that a traffic impact study would have to be done if there were going to be something built there?
Mayor, Councilor Bacomo, that is correct. Whenever this, I'm sorry,
It's
you
okay,
changed
it's
names.
okay.
Coran, my apologies.
No worries.
I'm unlabeling you there. Essentially what it is whenever any type of development does come into the property, it does go for review throughout staff, including the traffic engineering section and transportation department. So let's take a look at that, look at the impact that the property might bring into that area, and if any improvements are required to the right-of-way, they would be required to do so during development, essentially.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if that really answers, I understand the spirit of George's comment, but I just wanted to get to the idea that it won't be developed without that conversation happening.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Coran. Anyone else? We're good? We're ready for a vote.
This is on the motion to approve ordinance 3055. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Aye.
Thank you. Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores is absent. Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Next one is Council Bill number 24-014, ordinance number 3056, an ordinance approving a zone change from R2/C-2, multi-dwelling, low-density, commercial medium intensity to C2, commercial medium intensity for property located at 806 East Bowman Avenue. Get a motion.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
Thank you.
Righty, next zone change we have here is for, again, Adam Ochoa for community development. Property located at 806 East Bowman Avenue. Property is currently zone R2/C2, multi-dwelling, low density, and commercial medium intensity. It is currently encompasses roughly about 4.02 acres in size. Property is actually made up of a couple of lots, if you will, that are actually in the process of being replatted into one. So the applicant for the zone change is also the applicant doing the replat, trying to create one clean piece of property, essentially. Property was previously used in violation of our current zoning code. It's kind of been existing like that for a while now, unfortunately. It is located in the South Mesquite Overlay District, our historical overlay district, and in what is called the urban neighborhood place type. Property is vacant, has been vacant for over a year. So because of that, essentially the property now needs to be brought into compliance with our current code, which is why we're here reviewing this zone change, essentially. As you can see here, just a small portion of that property is zone 2. The vast majority of it is zone R4. Just give you a bearing, there's Bowman here, south Almendra, and to the south you got East Amador. Just to give you an idea of the area, we have the religious institutions, single-family homes, multifamily homes in the area, and just a corridor of nothing but commercial along Amador, including used car dealerships, offices, and so on and so forth. And again, looking at the property, as you can see, it is made up of essentially 2 buildings with a commercial parking lot. Just to keep in mind when we go a little further, the commercial portion of this is what is the southeast or the eastern portion of the property, where there is a metal building and an actually improved paved parking lot. And to the west and the north, that is what is the residential portion of the property with a single family home on it. Essentially, like I said, the proposal is for the property just to be completely zoned C2 commercial medium intensity. The applicant is proposing to utilize the property for the residence itself, so they'll be living there, as well as utilizing for cottage industry uses, which would include woodworking, retail of natural health products, and home goods services on site as well. All uses that do go on this property will have to follow all requirements of the South Mosquito Overlay and the C2 regulations as well. And really, this zone change will clean up, if you will, the zoning issue with the property by bringing it into compliance and still allowing the uses of the residents and the commercial uses that is being proposed for the property, and legitimize commercial uses and anything forthcoming in the future as well. Here's the site plan of that property. As stated before, this is kind of like the commercial area to the east, the residential to the west. And this is a little confusing, but this is the western portion where the single-family home, stucco home is. And as you can see, a very commercial property located here to the east, improved parking, and the metal building in the back. When staff did their analysis of this, we did notice or identify that there's no health, safety, or welfare issues. The proposed zone change provides compatibility for the proposed land uses, not only for the property, but for the surrounding area as well. It is located in an urban place type as per Elevate Las Cruces, our comprehensive plan, which encourages a variety of residential developments and areas of supporting neighborhood commercial development, which this is kind of all in one, not only residential, but also supporting commercial development as well. The proposal will also follow all the requirements of the South Mosquito Overlay and the applicable 2001 Zoning 1 code provisions. For this proposed zone change, staff did recommend or request that the applicant send out early notification for the proposed zone change. No input was received. City of Las Cruces staff went ahead and did their required public notifications to surrounding area. Staff received no input as well for this proposed zone change. During the September 26, 2023 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, at this one as well, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval by a vote of 6-0 with 1 commissioner absent. Findings being that the property being within the South Mosquito Overlay, just follow those requirements of the South Mosquito Overlay. The fact that now the previously in violation property will not be brought in compliance, as well as staff did receive a letter of support from Historic Preservation Commission Chair on behalf of the Historic Preservation Committee, who kind of oversees the historical neighborhoods in the city of Las Cruces. Additional findings being the proposal is supported by Elevate Las Cruces. It meets the purpose and intent of the 2001 zoning code, and the proposed zone change is compatible with the surrounding area that it is being proposed. With that, your options, again, is 1 to vote yes and vote to approve the proposed zone change as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission, 2 to vote no and deny, 3 to vote to amend, or 4 to table, postpone, and direct staff and the applicant accordingly. That is the conclusion of my presentation. I stand for questions.
Any questions from council? Any questions or input from the public? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote.
This is on the motion to approve ordinance 3056. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores is absent. Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. The next one is Council Bill 240, ordinance number 3057, an ordinance approving a zone change from C1 commercial low intensity and R3 multi-dwelling medium density to C3 commercial high intensity on a property encompassing 1.436 plus or minus acres. This subject property is located on 2460 Missouri Avenue.
Move to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Good. Okay, Adam,
All right.
you're up again.
One more time for the road. 2460 Missouri Avenue, another proposed zone change for this property. It is located on the southwest corner, what is Missouri Avenue and Traverse Drive. It is partially developed. The portion of the property that's closer to the actual intersection is with a commercially developed property, and part of this property is vacant or undeveloped, and that's the one located further away, kind of south of the, more southern of the intersection there. Currently, the property is zoned C1 commercial low intensity and R3 multi-dwelling medium intensity. The existing C1 zoning aspect of the property is non-conforming, considering our C1 commercial low intensity zoning designation has limitations on lot size as well as building sizes for commercial development. So essentially the property is non-conforming as it exists now due to size of the buildings and the property itself. It is located along commercial corridors. We all know Missouri Avenue and Traverse as well, and fronts what are designated two arterial roadways. Both are designated that not only by Elevate Las Cruces Comprehensive Plan, but by the Metropolitan Planning Organization as well. Shown here the property, as you can see, this is the portion of the zone C1, the bottom portion here is zone R3, Missouri Avenue on the north, east of South Traverse, north of what is John Street, somewhat of a residential area here to the south, but definitely along what is a major commercial corridor, as we kind of call them out here per our zoning code. Variety of land uses in the area, single family to the south, religious institutions, multifamily, office uses, commercial uses all along Missouri Avenue. So just a plethora, if you will, of uses along Missouri Avenue there. So the proposal for this property is a rezone to C3 commercial high intensity. Again, C3 high being required because of the sheer size of the property being over an acre in size. Essentially, what this proposed zone change will realign the existing uses for the subject property as per the 2001 zoning code, and it will eliminate those nonconformities of that C1 zone area on the property that'll basically now be following our current code. Additional analysis that we saw, again, no public safety, health, or welfare issues with the proposed zone change. C3 zone designation is most compatible, not only for the subject property, again, because of its size, but also with the surrounding neighborhood. C3 is located all along Missouri and Traverse as well. With the proposed zone change, there is an increased ability for future development, not only to be developed on the vacant, undeveloped portion, but possible additional redevelopment on the C1 portion of the property, because essentially, since they're non-conforming, they can no longer expand, they can no longer do additions or anything like that. They have to stay as is, being non-conforming. So with the zone change, that'll allow them to do further additions if desired. Additionally, we did see that they are, as stated before, they are located along two minor arterial roadways where C3 zoning and uses are encouraged. Here's kind of just a legal site plan of that property. As you can see, kind of that's that C1 area and the current C1 area, and the R3 property there to the south. Notice was sent out to all surrounding property owners within 500 feet of the subject property. Staff received 2 phone calls regarding just general questions of the proposed zone change. At the Planning and Zoning Commission, we had one person to just asking questions of staff of what it is that's going to happen and how it's going to affect their property, which it wouldn't, because it's some other property that's being zoned, not there, rezoned, not theirs. The October 24th, 2023 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, during this meeting, Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval for this proposed zone change as well by a vote of 6-0, 1 commissioner seat vacant. Findings being that the proposed zone change, could potentially not only attract further or retain additional businesses as something that's a pushing point of the 2001 zoning code. Additionally, the expanded uses allowed by the zone change is consistent with the surrounding area. Subject property is located along minor arterial roadways where commercial zoning designations are encouraged, and the proposed zone change request is supported by Elevate Las Cruces Comprehensive Plan and meets the purpose and intent of the 2001 zoning code. With that, ladies and gentlemen, your options tonight today is one to vote yes and approve the proposed zone change as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission, 2 vote no and deny, 3 to amend, or 4 table, postpone, and direct staff accordingly. That is the conclusion of my presentation, and I stand for questions.
All right, thank you, Adam. Any questions by council? No, Councilor Corinne.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation again. I so love the 2001 zoning code. I can't wait for us to get rid of it. I'm just taking this opportunity, since you referenced it, to ask how is our Realize process going, and is this the type of thing that will be fixed? Because when I hear about non-conforming, I wince. Will it be fixed when we pass Realize, and when can we look forward to that?
Mayor, Council Coran, this will essentially, because it'll take into effect not only use, it's not really more of a Euclidean, it's more of a change of our original zoning code. So the uses would be allowed, and there'd just be additional development standards and design standards that be required. It is still under staff review, I believe, as of now. We are reviewing the zoning section, which is what we're talking about today, as well as some of the design standards, which include streets and so forth like that. We're hoping, well, maybe my director here could give us a little more timeline of where we're at with that.
Awesome, thank you.
Good afternoon. Larry Nichols for the record. Mayor, Councilor Coran. The Realize Las Cruces update from the 2001, we realize that is some 20 years old and very much in need of an update. The consultant, Friesen Nichols, and the TAC committee have completed the review of all sections. It has been sent back to the consultant to comprise the draft for review. It will be coming forward to the TAC committee for one more review of all the changes that were adopted. And then we'll begin to start our public outreach notification for the public and for all agencies in the city. Timeline, I'm thinking it will be probably early to mid-spring when we begin to bring it back to you for your consideration for adoption.
Awesome. I just want to express my enthusiasm and excitement. Thank you for maintaining that project. I can't wait to read it, and mark my words, I will. Thanks.
Seeing none from council, any comments or questions from the public? Okay, then we're ready for a vote.
This is on the motion to approve ordinance 3057. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores is absent. Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Ordinance passes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Next on the agenda, we have board appointments. Okay. And these are the following city council appointments made by the mayor. The Movida, Mayor Enriquez will serve. MPO Policy Board will be Mayor Enriquez and Councilor McClure. SCSWA, Mayor Enriquez as ex officio and Councilor Bencomo. Juvenile Justice will be Mayor Enriquez and Councilor Graham. Oversight Committee will be Councilor Matisse and Councilor Bencomo as the mayor's designee. The ASCMV will be Councilor Graham. University District Committee, Councilor Matisse. Las Cruces Utility Board, Councilor McClure. And MRVDA will be Councilor McClure and Councilor Coran as alternate. Okay, we're good, thank you. Next, we have the notice of proposed ordinance The ordinance is Council Bill number 24-016, ordinance number 3058, an ordinance approving a zone change from M1, M2 industrial standard to C3 commercial high intensity for a property encompassing 8.25 plus acres and located at 4201 Del Rey Boulevard, submitted by the New Republic Design Company representative.
Bring it forward, please.
Good. Thank you. So we have next the City Council member board reports and comments. What I'd like to do is start backwards from District 6 to Mayor Pro Tem Mayor and then City Manager. So since Councilor Flores is out, District 5 Councilor Corinne.
Thank you. I missed the last meeting, and so I'll just give a quick thank you to Chief, and congratulations to Chief for your appointment and inviting us to the graduation for the new Academy graduates. It was a great experience, and I definitely took your words to heart as a former valedictorian, and now I'm getting to talk more. I can't believe that you signed up for that. I definitely took your words to heart, and I really appreciate being invited and seeing the new class as they're coming on. Other than that, I'm really excited to work with you all in the new year. Thank you for a great meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. So next would be Councilor Gren.
So let me start off. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem. But now my timing is all off because there's no City Councilor District 4. I don't really have anything to share, just welcome new colleagues. I'm really excited to be serving on this body and looking forward to what 2024 has in store for all of us, and not in an ominous way. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Matisse.
Again, I'd like to tell everyone that I'm glad to be here, and I'm happy to serve with the present councilors and the new councilors. I'd like to thank all the constituents that voted in District 2, but my concerns are about District 2, and so I'd like to ask the mayor a time frame when we could address the issues that were very important to the District 2 voters, and that's the public safety issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Matisse. Councilor McClure.
I'm going to echo the sentiments of the mayor and hope that we do good work in the next 4 years. I'm really honored and humbled to be here and look forward to serving as the voice for District 1. In that effect, for those who voted for me, thank you, and for those who didn't, I will work to earn your trust over the next 4 years, and I really want you to reach out and contact me. I look forward to talking to more people because that's the only way that I'll be able to do the will of the people. So thank you very much, and I look forward to my new colleagues as well. All right.
Thank you, Councilor. Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh my God. Just zoning off a bit. My apologies. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm very happy to be here. I first want to thank my colleagues for your trust in me in this position as Mayor Pro Tem. I really appreciate it, and I promise to do well. Christine, in the event that Mayor Enriquez is ever gone, I will be coming to you often, so don't be gone a lot, okay? I, of course, want to welcome Mayor Enriquez. It's an exciting time for Las Cruces. I think we've had one mayor for a really long time, and so this just feels like a door opener of opportunity, and so welcome. I'm really excited, and of course, welcome to our two new councilors as well. Looking forward to working with both of you on the important issues facing Las Cruces. I also just really quickly want to wish Councilor Becky Corin happy birthday, everybody. It's her birthday, so happy birthday to her. Thanks for being here on your birthday. And happy birthday, the meeting ended very quickly. 4 years ago, my first meeting, we ended at 8 p.m., so you're welcome, everybody. I do have a couple of things on my list that I wanted to just address really quickly on there is a need for a water conservation plan improvement and update. I don't know if Adrian, if you'd allow her to come up, Mayor Enriquez, to briefly give an update on that. I know I thought about doing it during the earlier item, but I figured I could wait till comments. And it's really simple. I mean, I think really just the utility board members have asked for this conversation to happen for that much bigger piece of issue that you brought up. So I don't know if Adrian, you wanted to add anything else?
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem McComo, that's fine if Adrian promises not to keep us here till 8 p.m.
That's right.
Mayor, councilors, yes, I promise not to keep you here till 8 p.m. Adrian Widmer, Utilities Director. So we've got our 40-year water development plan, and so that's getting close to needing updating, which we'll be working on shortly. We also have our water conservation plan, that one is still in a draft format that we need to go back and kind of take a look at. We're waiting for a couple of things to occur first, which seems kind of counterintuitive. But based on what could potentially be happening, hopefully, possibly in April, with Texas v. New Mexico and the potential for a consent decree, will have a lot to do with how we move forward with the planning and moving forward with water. And we work very closely with our utility board and really appreciate all of their comments coming in. So at this point, everything's fine. We're using those documents that we currently have. Those are they're still applicable at this moment, so.
Thank you, Adrian. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. And I do just want to say that I feel really confident in our water management expertise. I think Adrian, that's her whole background as our utility director. I think we're really lucky to have her. And then our chair for the utilities committee is Commissioner Achuleta, and he also has a depth of experience in water management. So I think we're in really good hands. Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you.
I did want to, for transparency's sake, I was invited to a meeting last month with now municipal judge Filosa, Chief Story was there, Smith Story, Chief Story was there, Natalie Green was there, Brad from legal was there, as we were talking about building out an outreach core as an extension of municipal core. I'm really excited about that process. I think we need to give Judge Filosa an opportunity to settle in and create that transition for him and his team there. But I'm excited for the conversation that we had a few weeks ago about this, really how to begin addressing a lot of the concerns raised by the community. Certainly a lot of concerns that I've heard in District 4 around folks who keep getting stuck in the criminal justice system with low-level misdemeanors and don't have a way to interrupt it. And I think Outreach Core, I've talked about it many times to you all, but I do want to just say that I think as soon as Judge Filosa is ready, that we invite him to a work session with us. I think that'd be really important to hear from him, his thoughts and ideas. And while I'm on this topic, I know that in past, Christine and Mayor, that the mayor gets to appoint a second judge to municipal court. I did, however, want to ask if you would be open to a conversation around, and if it was even possible, a conversation around creating a different process for appointing that person. I think given the last year and some of the conflicts that we had in that area with some appointments, and it's not just any appointment, it's a paid salary position, right? And it's a judge position, like it's a big position, that perhaps there should be an interview committee or something like that, not just a flat-out appointment. And I was wondering if you were open to that process and how to come up with that. And of course, I think with Judge Filosa's input in addition to that. And then I did want to actually address the traffic management concerns brought up here today. I think we have, David, since you're up here, I don't know how we could begin having this conversation. I know our budget retreat is coming up, as Councillor Graham has lovingly dubbed the Hunger Games, but I would love to talk about, I think there's a couple of intersections currently in discussion, the one that was brought up today, Elks, Hoagland, there's a couple of big intersections that that people have talked about traffic management. And I'm wondering if we're able to do that in a work session or some way to get a conversation started about budgetary needs, a list of priorities, right? Like what is the Loman intersection? Like how are we prioritizing those kinds of projects? And then again, our budgetary needs. So I would love to see that conversation move forward. And then just lastly, on homelessness, I think given that it's the new year and there were several folks here speaking on this issue, you know, I just want to say that I think if it was easy, we'd be doing it already. And the reality is that it takes an incredible amount of political will, an incredible amount of investment and time in order to address these issues. And I think there's a lot of moving pieces that will come into fruition here. It's not just one piece there's not one magic solution to this. It's multiple, and I think we have the expertise in our community, and I'm excited to work with our new mayor and our new colleagues and community advocates to find even more solutions and figure out how to invest in them. So with that, I will wrap up my very long list. Thank you all so much. I'm excited for the new year.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to say Happy New Year to everyone. I did get a chance to attend the chili drop. It was green. That's the color I chose. So, yeah. I was there with Councilor, or I should say Congressman, former City Councilor Gabe Vasquez, and he chose red, I chose green, so I told him I won, you know, this year, 2024, green. But no, I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone, happy birthday, congratulations to Chief Story. And, you know, the public comments, the input, I do take to heart. You know, especially when the gentleman said, you all have your work cut out for you. He's absolutely right, we do. But that's what we signed up for. I'm very proud, I'm honored to be the mayor of the city of Las Cruces, Mayor Ken Miyagishima. He was here for 16 years, so it's not gonna be an overnight change, but it's a lot of work and I look forward to it. I thank all those that elected me to be here, and as Councilor McClure mentioned, those that didn't, I hope that I can earn your trust and move forward. When I campaigned, it was Team Eric Enriquez for mayor, and now I can say as mayor with my colleagues here and the organization and the community, it is now Team Las Cruces that I look forward to. So again, I look forward to a very productive, very hardworking council that we can get things done and address the petty crime, the homelessness, the traffic, everything that we've got to do for our community to make it safe and to help it thrive. So thank you all. And now I'll turn it over to our city manager for his comments.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a few items, but before, just also want to welcome our newly elected officials. On behalf of staff, you know, I think we mentioned it earlier in our onboarding, but we're here for you. Look forward to tours that you want to take, if you anything else that you need from staff. But I think we have with community engagement and Mr. Barbara Bencomo, that they've planned some good onboarding for you all if you're interested in that. But welcome and look forward to working with you as well. Mayor, Councilor Matisse.
Hey.
Councilor Matisse.
If I may, I recommend a tour to Italy. Thank you.
Right. Right on. Thank you. Just a couple of items that I've received from some of our departments and sections. First, our Citizens Academy. I'd actually like to turn some time over to Chief to talk about that. He texted me about pushing the deadline for applications. It's on January 19th. So we're accepting applications, and we want to get that going. But maybe turn some time over to Chief to give a little plug for that.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, Council, and I just wanted to kind of plug, we have a Citizens Academy scheduled for here in next month. It'll start on February 20th. It'll end on March 14th. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. And we're taking applications right now. So applications will close on Friday, January 19th. Those applications can be dropped off at the East Mesa Public Safety Complex, which is 550 North Sonoma Ranch. If you go to our Facebook, there's a link there, but on the police department website, for the city website, there's a link to the application and more information about it. We look forward to it. We're very excited about it.
Thank you. And then I want to mention our Neighborhood Leadership Academy from our community engagement. It begins on January 10th. The Neighborhood Leadership Academy aims to develop community leaders, provide an understanding of the city services, engage constituents in city decisions, projects, future of the city, and to increase community pride. Neighborhood Leadership Academy classes will be 2 hours once a week for 10 weeks, mostly on Wednesdays. Graduation for those completing 7 of the 10 classes will be April 1st, 2024. Participants will meet in various locations around the city to receive firsthand information directly from city departments. The academy is free, bilingual, and has a maximum of 35 participants, and is currently being held once a year. The application process closed on December 29th. Anything more to say about that? Any more plug? I guess applications are closed, so nobody can come. Just an update to let you know that it's beginning. I'd like to thank our community engagement, Trina and team for putting that together. And then just a reminder, I know we've sent out press releases and about our minimum wage increase as of January 1st, in accordance with ordinance enacted in 2014. We're to align our minimum wage with the CPI index as of 2020. And so it goes from $12 to $12.36. And then I believe tip wages go from $4.78 to $4.95. So as of January 1st, that's what our minimum wage will be. And then just a FYI coming from our utilities, just kudos to our utility, what do we call it? Our utility bill, I'm trying to figure out what Victor's exact title is, but kudos to Victor for our bill collection, over past due bill collection. He's up to over 2.1 million for year to date for fiscal year 24. And so he's really good at his job and his team, but just wanted to mention that. $2.1 million is what he's collected year to date. I believe that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, City Manager. That's it? Oh, okay. Thank you all for attending. This was my first meeting. I guess I owe ice cream. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Graham.
Second.
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores is absent. Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes.